fun. Let me talk to a liberal the way liberals talk to us. Let us go to Michael, San Francisco, the great KSFO. Go.
Hello, Mark. Thank you for having me on.
Of course.
I had a lot of thoughts about the stuff that you've been saying the last few minutes because I'm one of your loyal liberal listeners. The question I wanted to answer is why we get to conducting these investigations into Trump officials and we're not investigating John Brennan or Adam Schiff. It's because there's a very, very elaborate, detailed, and damning trail of evidence that the Trump officials are traitors and that they conspired with the Russians. It's very clear. And there's nothing on these other guys. That's the answer to your question.
Well, I think you make a good point. The evidence is damning, and I assume the president will be charged. With what, exactly?
Well, the president is different than all of his people. I don't know.
Okay, let's pick another person. Who would you like to pick?
It is very clear from the latest indictment that the Russians hacked the DNC. They lay out.
But they also hacked the RNC.
But they didn't release any.
Apparently, the DNC is not smart enough to put proper passwords on their system.
Well,
did the Russians hack Hillary Clinton's server?
We know, Mark, that they hacked.
Michael, this is a discussion. Did the Russians hack Hillary Clinton's server?
I don't think we know that. I think they tried.
Where is her server?
Can I please just say this one?
No, you can't. Where's her server?
About this latest indictment?
Now, you know what? If I were you, I wouldn't want to answer that either. Go ahead with the latest indictment.
Excuse me?
Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. They made a carbon copy of the Democratic National Committee's analytics in the months leading up to the election.
The Russians did.
The Russians did.
I thought you were talking about Trump. If you're telling us the Russians are the enemy, it's very positive development that you liberals have finally figured out that the Russians are the enemy. By the way, the Chinese are too. Are you aware of that?
Let me just say this, please.
Do you now support the Strategic Defense Initiative, or is that Star Wars?
Excuse me? What?
Against the Russians. You know, the Russians, the enemy.
Yes.
Try and follow me. It's not hard. I'm saying you now think the Russians are the enemy, correct? Let me try it this way. Are the Russians our enemy? Yes or no?
Mark, there's one point that I want to make. One more time.
Are the Russians our enemy? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Do you now support funding the Strategic Defense Initiative?
Well, you're about my age, so I know you know how long ago that was. Our military.
We still have it. You know, we're still trying to fund it. Do you stop evading me all the time? Why?
I'm not evading you. You're
yes or no? Let's pretend this is an SAT test. Did you do pretty well in the SAT?
Defense Initiative.
Pay attention. Did you do pretty well in the SAT?
That's just fine with me.
It's fine with you now, 30 years later. I just want to make sure that we know where you stand now. Okay, go ahead. What's your question to me?
My point to you is that the indictments lay out how they took all these private analytics about the Democratic user base from the DNC, and a week or so after they did that hack, Brad Pascal, who ran Trump's digital campaign, was proudly giving interviews talking about how they had massively shifted their spending. They'd moved it all into
See
Michigan.
What a conspiracy nut you are? That's not in the indictment. The indictment's 29 pages long. What page is that on the indictment?
The Brad Pascal interview was on television.
Oh, on television. I thought you were talking about the indictment.
Not how prosecutors work, Mark. I think you probably know that.
I'm not a prosecutor. I'm trying to be logical, and you're not. You're a conspiracy theorist.
No, I'm not a conspiracy theorist.
Now we have Brad Pascal. Has he been charged with anything?
Traitor.
Pay attention. I'm talking to you, and you're starting to annoy me. I said, has Brad Pascal been charged with anything?
Who? Trump? No, not yet.
I said Get off the phone, you idiot. You talk like a moron. I'm trying to pin the guy down. He's bouncing around like a ping pong ball. See what I mean? Completely vapid. Pointless. All that carbon footprint he put out, the carbon dioxide, just blah. How do you get through to somebody like, I tried, right, Mr. Producer? I knew he was an idiot, but I didn't cut him off. I'm trying to, what about this? What about this? What about this? And Brian Pascal, he's not in the indictment. Wow. So Trump is a traitor, you see. Sick absolutely sick. That's their voter base. That's the voter base. That's the Bernie Sanders voter base. I'm a liberal. You're not a liberal. First of all, you're a moron, and secondly, you're a soft Marxist. Maybe a hard Marxist. I don't know. But Trump's a traitor? Now, that would be Ted Kennedy. He was a traitor. You liberal, you know what? Let's leave a line open there, Mr. Call Screener. Leave one line open. We usually do this, our liberal line. And I have a special number for your liberals out there. 877-381-3811. You're not keeping a line open. I said keep a line open for a liberal. 877-381-3811. That's our special liberal line. Or Democratic Socialist line. Fred, Poughkeepsie.